Hey guys, what's up? It's been a while since I've last talked to you all. Sorry about that, but I had no idea that I was going to be away for this long. 5 months is the longest that I have gone without uploading a video before. After I uploaded the second part of my YouTube story, I then had no idea that I was going to have this long of an absence away from YouTube. The best way for me to explain my 5-month hiatus away from making videos is by telling you all what I was doing each month while I was away. This video is probably going to be long because I do have a lot to say. However, I'm hoping it's not going to be anywhere near as long as my previous video, which is my 2017 A Look Back, as that is over 30 minutes long. So, right now, why not grab a drink, get some snacks, maybe visit the toilet, and then get comfortable as I tell you all on what I've been doing for these last 5 months. It all began at the end of September while I was editing my 7-year YouTube anniversary video that I got a call from my grandmother, Oma, asking me if I could come over and help her out in her backyard. I of course said yes, and I went over there. At first, what she wanted me to do was no problem. However, I soon found out that it was going to be a whole lot more. What started off with me mowing her backyard and trimming a few branches here and there turned into the next 2 months of what felt like preparing her yard to enter in for a chance at winning the Backyard of the Year award. The following is what I had to deal with. Weeding is a pain in the ass. Why people spend so much time doing it is beyond me. It just doesn't make any sense. Replacing your entire yard with cement would be more practical than having to deal with everything that goes into weed removal. Weeds aren't easy to remove. Oh no. Pulling them from the surface doesn't mean that they are out. Nope. The only way to make sure that weeds are completely removed is by doing the following. You have to dig until you are basically halfway to the center of the earth, because that is how far it feels like that the roots of weeds go down to. Again, why anyone would want to go through all of that when having a concrete yard or an AstroTurf yard would be a lot easier. I know nothing about gardening, so if you're a gardener, let me know if this is a way of keeping weeds from growing back. Placing large trash bags over the area that you have just weeded, and then to take mulch and place that on top of the trash bags. Is this normal? I have no idea. What I do know is that when my grandmother goes to remove those bags in a month or 2, she's going to have a lot of white splotches all over the yard because she will have killed the grass in those areas. That much I am sure of. Vines are evil. Evil, evil, evil. Vines are harder to remove than weeds are. The roots of vines must be cemented into the ground as they do not want to come out at all. The only way it seems to be in getting rid of vines is to do one of two things. The first method is to grab a handful of them, wrap them around your wrist, and then pull with all of your might until those suckers finally want to come out of the ground. The other method for vine removal is to torch the vines and the yard as well. This way, you are killing two birds with one stone. I brought this method up to Oma many times throughout working on her backyard. However, due to an incident that happened in 1991, flames were a no-go because of all of that was a true story. Honest. Now, a normal, sane person would not keep broken tools around and yet alone use them as well. But that's what my grandmother did. When it came to vine removal, like I previously just stated, Oma had her own method for removing them. Her method was to use a saw. A saw is not going to fully remove the vines because once you cut them, they will just grow back again. But that is neither here or there though. The saw that she used was broken. Now, a sane person would not be using a broken saw. She, however, did. Using a saw in the first place can be very dangerous. And since she was using a broken saw, that is even more dangerous as she could have easily hurt herself very badly, and so could I as well, as she gave me that job when she didn't want to do it anymore. I addressed this concern to her many times throughout her backyard overhaul, but she ignored me. She tends to do this when she doesn't want to hear what you have to say to her, even when it is common sense. Aside from the broken saw, she also used a broken trowel for digging. I don't know why she didn't just go out and buy new tools. She's not broke. She has money. Here's what really gets me though. Her lawnmower broke out of the blue. One minute it was running and then the next it was dead. She had just bought that lawnmower only a couple months prior, so it's odd that it just conked out like it did. Since the lawnmower was still new, she could have easily replaced it because the lawnmower was still under warranty. That could have happened had she had not lost the receipt to the lawnmower. Well, that's what she said. What is more likely, though, is that she just didn't feel like looking for it. And so, for the last 5 months now, a broken lawnmower has been sitting in her backyard collecting dust. Again, a normal, sane person would have replaced the lawnmower with the new one by now, but not her. There is no logic with this woman at times. None whatsoever. If working on her backyard wasn't enough for the month of October, wait until I tell you all about the experience I had of taking her to the ER one afternoon because she thought she might have broken her foot. The fun never stops when she's around. Doing all of that work and having to deal with her at the same time as well, I am so glad that I brought my iPod with me every day. Having my tunes got me through it all, because I know if I didn't have my music, I would have gone utterly insane. All of that work that I did for her, up to 3 times a week, was well worth it though. For still being unemployed, however I can earn money, I'll take it. Oma paid me quite well for her backyard. Enough that by the time December rolled around, I had saved enough and that I was able to purchase Christmas presents without having to ask my parents to put some money into my checking account like I have been doing the previous years. It is now March, and I still have some of that money left over, which is unusual for me because whenever I do have money, I have usually spent it all by now. So, by being busy with her yard like I was then, it curbed my shopping addiction back and I was able to save money for later on. November wasn't nearly as busy as October was. I did spend some of the month still working on Oma's backyard. However, the majority of this time around was spent on raking up all of the fallen leaves, and not so much of the back-breaking work that I had previously been doing. When I wasn't working on her yard or taking her someplace that she wanted to go to, I spent the majority of November doing nothing. Absolutely nothing. It felt great to be doing nothing, as it really helped me unwind after all of that work that I had been doing, and as a way to de-stress from having to deal with Oma as well. I needed the break away from my grandmother. During those days off, I did try to attempt to make videos again, but they just didn't pan out. And so I found myself saying quite a lot, "I'll just do it tomorrow." Saying that is usually fine, unless you are a procrastinator like I am. Procrastination is bad, especially for me, as I know that if I do not do something right then and there, it will never get accomplished. It will just be forgotten about, and that will be that. My procrastination from making videos got so bad that I almost put YouTube off completely. I let my watch later section get up to over 300 unwatched videos. That is a lot. I can say that as of making this video right now, all of those videos have been watched. But this just goes to show you that this is a prime example of just how good I am when it comes to procrastination. I cut Thanksgiving from my 2017 A Look Back video because of the video's overall length, and by just briefly mentioning part of it, you wouldn't know the whole story. This past Thanksgiving was just about like all of the previous ones. I watched the parade, I helped out preparing the meal, I removed a dead raccoon from the yard. You know, nothing special. Wait, did you just say that you removed a dead raccoon? Yes I did. If I had originally kept Thanksgiving in my 2017 A Look Back video, this is where you would have been all asking me in the comments about why I mentioned that. From what we were able to piece together, this is how it all went down. The night before Thanksgiving, a raccoon must have got hit by a car, where it then proceeded to crawl into our yard, where it then died. The next day, while I was helping my other grandmother prepare the meal, she saw from the window that there was something lying behind the tree in the front yard. We both couldn't make out what it was because all we could see was its behind sticking out. After some going back and forth on what it could possibly be, we sent my father out to investigate on what it actually was. He reports back and says that it is a dead raccoon. A dead raccoon! Lovely! My grandmother calls animal control to tell them about the dead raccoon. They tell her that they only deal with living animals, and since it is dead, there is no threat of rabies. They tell her to just throw it away in the trash. Excuse me, but what? There's a dead animal in our yard and you're telling us that we have to remove it ourselves? What? It's good to know that there is no risk of rabies, but regardless of that, they should still come and collect it anyways. What if that had been a dog or a cat? That would then change the scenario to that this could possibly be someone's pet. And if that were the case, then there would be no way that I would be able to just throw away someone's pet. I don't know anyone who would be able to do that. Would you? Well, since it was up to us to get rid of it, my father and myself collected 3 trash bags, 2 pairs of gloves, and 2 shovels to dispose of the raccoon. We did briefly consider just pushing the raccoon into the curb of the street and have the transportation department come and collect it, as this is what animal control told my grandmother is what happens if there is a dead animal in the road. But it being Thanksgiving Day and all, it might have been a few days before they actually got around to come and collect it. And nobody wants a rotting raccoon in the street for a couple of days. No. With our bags and our shovels, we proceeded in the removal of this raccoon. This is how big the raccoon was. That's a pretty big raccoon. My father placed and tied 2 of the trash bags onto the ends of the shovels before proceeding to lift up the raccoon and place it into the other trash bag. Once we got the raccoon into the trash bag, then it was time to put it into the trash can. For something that looks about the size of a medium house cat, that thing had some heft to it. And for someone who had a cat for quite some time, my cat never weighed anything like that raccoon did. Putting the raccoon into the trash can had to be done very carefully, because if that bag had broken, we'd have to do that all over again, and once is more than enough for me. I carefully lowered the bag into the trash can, and with that, that ordeal was now over with. When I woke up that morning, the thought never crossed my mind that I would be removing a dead animal that day or any other. That was certainly a fun Thanksgiving activity to do right before having dinner. And yes, before you all ask, I did wash my hands before I ate. Before sitting down to eat, I posted the picture of the raccoon onto my Facebook and my Twitter, jokingly saying that instead of having turkey and ham this year, we were having raccoon instead. Some of my friends got the joke, while others not so much. And that, folks, was my exciting Thanksgiving for 2017. By the time December rolled around, it had already been 2 months since I uploaded my last video. 2 months is quite serious when it comes to YouTube, especially these days. I had a talk with myself and I said, look, the longer you keep procrastinating on making videos, the more likely it is that you will never make them again. With it being December though, it was a bit late to be playing catch up now. I decided that the best thing to do was just leave everything as it was. Let my second half of my YouTube story be the last video of the year. It wasn't worth trying to cobble a video together that I didn't have time to completely plan out just in order to get something up before December 31st. During the last week in December, I debated if I was going to make my annual look back on the year like I have been doing for the last 6 years. These videos do take time to make, so since I hadn't really made anything since September, you can see why I debated on making the video or not. After some back and forth, I went ahead and I made the video. That video, however, took time to make. The entire month of January, basically. The reason why it took that long is because I did a lot of reshoots on it, and then editing the whole video took time as well. When it comes to making videos, filming is the easy part. It's the editing where the real work happens. Moving on to February now, and that is where I made the first attempt at making this video that you currently are all watching now. However, February was also the month that the Winter Olympics were happening in Pyeongchang, South Korea. So I was rushing to get this video completed because once the games had started, that was going to be me for the entire 2 weeks that they were on. After the Olympics ended, I then went back and watched what I had filmed, and I wasn't too pleased with it. Some of it was okay, but the majority of it was going to need reshooting. So I just scrapped it and started over. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, this concludes on what I've been doing for the last 5 months. To briefly recap, this is what I've been doing since last September. In October, I was busy with my Oma's backyard. November, I procrastinated and I removed a dead raccoon. December, I tried to play catch up and I failed. January, I slowly got things running again. February was a no-go because of the Olympics. And now, here we are in March, and I'm just getting around to uploading my second video of the year. Now that I have told you all on why I have been absent for so long, I feel like I can finally get on with 2018 now and finally be done with 2017. I hope that you have enjoyed this video. I know that it is long, like I said at the beginning, but I felt that you all deserve to know on everything that I have been doing for these last 5 months. Because I know that if I was subscribed to someone who hadn't uploaded for as long as I have, I would want to know on where they had been. As of right now, I can tell you all that I do not see nor plan for any extended gaps for the foreseeable future. However, things can change though, so I can only promise so much. But even if they were to change, I would keep you all updated on what was going on. There would be videos. Again, I would like to apologize for being away for these last 5 months and to also say that how fortunate I am to have you all for subscribers. It's good to know that I have such loyal subscribers that will stick with me even when I don't upload for how long. Alright, until next time, I hope that you all are doing well and that I'll see you again soon. Bye guys!